Have you ever looked at an old bottle in your medicine cabinet? Something thick, golden, maybe even a little dusty. Something you once heard your grandmother talk about, but never truly believed could be anything more than a home remedy. Now imagine this. What if that bottle, quietly sitting there for decades, held the very key to restoring your sleep, calming your joints, easing your digestion, and even helping your hair grow back? It sounds almost impossible, too simple to be real. But some of the most powerful solutions don't come from the pharmacy. They come from the past. And this one, it's called castor oil. Once carried by soldiers into World War II, not just for battle wounds, but to keep engines alive in freezing conditions. That's not folklore. That's history. But we're not here to talk about engines. We're here to talk about you, your energy, your body, and how this ancient oil, when paired with just one everyday item you already have at home, can quietly shift everything you thought you knew about aging. If you've been feeling tired, not just sleepy, but drained in a way that no nap seems to fix. If you've been waking up at night for the bathroom, struggling with digestion, feeling your joints resist every step you take, then this story is for you. Because this forgotten remedy, combined with something as common as baking soda, is quietly helping men and women over 60 reverse symptoms that doctors often dismiss as just age. But the truth runs deeper, and what you're about to learn might just help you sleep again, move again, and feel like yourself again. Stay with me, because we're not selling hope here. We're rediscovering something real, something that works. Castor oil isn't new, but for some reason the world forgot how extraordinary it really is. During World War II, U.S. soldiers didn't just carry castor oil to treat wounds. They used it to keep military equipment running in the harshest climates. Why? Because it could withstand pressure, fight corrosion, and soothe mechanical tension, just like it soothes tension inside the human body. Now, fast forward 80 years. Today, castor oil isn't being poured into tanks. It's being gently massaged into the skin of people who want to reclaim something far more valuable, their health. Inside this golden oil is a compound called ricinoleic acid, a natural anti-inflammatory that goes deeper than most modern treatments ever reach. It doesn't just sit on the skin, it penetrates. It travels into soft tissues, and it begins calming the fires of chronic inflammation. If you've ever felt a persistent ache, a dull throb in your lower back, a stubborn stiffness in your joints that turns every morning into a slow-motion routine, then you've likely felt what unaddressed inflammation can do over time. Most people respond with pills, temporary relief, but the cost: stomach pain, dizziness, foggy thinking, sometimes even damage to your liver or kidneys. But castor oil, it works differently. It's gentle but powerful. It doesn't silence your pain by blocking it. It heals the reason it's there. Massage it over your belly, your knees, your lower back, and you may feel what others have already reported, that warming sensation, that sense of release, as if your body is letting go of something it's held onto for too long. But the magic doesn't stop there, because when you add baking soda to the mix, something even more powerful happens. And that's where we go next. It's small, white, sits quietly in your kitchen cabinet waiting to clean your sink or freshen up the fridge. Baking soda, ordinary until it's not. Because when paired with castor oil, this humble powder becomes more than a cleaning aid. It becomes a healing catalyst. You see, baking soda does something beautiful inside the body. It helps balance pH, calm internal inflammation, and create an environment where healing can finally begin. Many people over 60 are silently living with something called low-grade acidosis, a subtle chronic state where the body is just a little too acidic. You might not feel it directly, but it shows up in the form of stiffness, fatigue, poor digestion, and that feeling like your body just isn't working right anymore. That's where baking soda steps in. It gently neutralizes excess acid. It supports better oxygen flow in your blood. And when you apply it together with castor oil, topically right on the skin, it boosts the oil's natural ability to detoxify, reduce swelling, and restore balance. It's not magic. It's chemistry. And the results. They speak in whispers of relief. My knees don't feel locked anymore. My stomach isn't tight after meals. I finally slept without getting up 5 times to pee. Because this combination, so simple, so overlooked, touches many systems at once. The circulatory system that brings nutrients to your tissues, the lymphatic system that clears out waste and toxins, the digestive system often slowed by age, even the nervous system where stress and sleep disruptions begin. And the best part, there are no side effects, no long-term risks, no dependence. Just 2 natural ingredients working in harmony, helping your body do what it was designed to do, heal itself. Still skeptical, that's fair. So was Sam. Let me tell you his story. Sam was the kind of man who didn't complain. A retired firefighter with a solid frame, weathered hands, and a quiet toughness. He had faced burning buildings, 24-hour shifts, and rescue calls that could rattle the soul. But nothing, absolutely nothing, had worn him down like the exhaustion of not sleeping. It started slowly, 1 or 2 trips to the bathroom at night, then 3, then 5. Some nights he didn't bother going back to bed. He'd just pace the house, turn the TV on with the volume low, wait for the sun to rise, and hope his energy would somehow catch up. He tried everything: melatonin, chamomile tea, pillows that claimed to align his spine, supplements promising prostate health. Nothing helped, and the worst part, he was told it was just part of getting older. So when I told Sam about castor oil and baking soda, his look said it all. That half smile people give when they don't want to hurt your feelings, but also don't believe a word you're saying. Oil on my stomach, he scoffed. Next, you'll tell me to howl at the moon. But desperation is a powerful thing. It makes even skeptical men try things they once laughed at. So he did. One night, after weeks of sleeping in fragments, he soaked a soft flannel in warm castor oil, sprinkled a small pinch of baking soda, placed it gently across his lower abdomen, covered it with wrap, laid back, and waited. The first night he woke up only twice. A small change, but to Sam, it felt like a miracle. The second week, he was sleeping in 4- and 5-hour stretches. And by the end of the 3rd week, he called me at 7 a.m. with a voice I hadn't heard in months. He was laughing. "I think I just slept the whole night through," he said. "First time in 10 years. His steps were lighter, his eyes clearer, the fog lifting. Was it a miracle? No. It was a routine, simple, natural, consistent. It worked with his body, not against it. And Sam isn't alone. What's healing him is now helping thousands reclaim something precious: rest, energy, peace. But nighttime relief is just the beginning, because what castor oil and baking soda can do for the prostate goes far deeper. And that's where we're heading next. It starts small. Maybe the stream gets weaker. Maybe you feel a little more urgency when you're out at dinner. Maybe your sleep gets interrupted once, then again, then again. Most men brush it off, just age, they think, just life. But slowly, quietly, this small nuisance becomes a nightly battle. The bathroom light flicks on 2, 3, 5 times. You start avoiding long car rides. You scan every building for restrooms before walking in. And the fatigue, it sets in like fog over a still lake. It's not just physical. It drains your energy, your confidence, your ability to feel at ease. It steals your peace of mind 1 trip at a time. And what's worse, most men never talk about it. They carry the weight of these symptoms in silence, accepting it as their new normal. But here's what no one tells you. This isn't just age. It's inflammation. It's oxidative stress building deep inside the prostate, triggering swelling that disrupts not only your flow, but your sleep, your mood, and your hormones. Doctors often prescribe pills which may bring short-term relief, but come with long lists of side effects: brain fog, fatigue, even a dip in the one thing many men value most: drive and intimacy. And then there's surgery, invasive, risky, expensive. But what if, instead of forcing the body, you could support it gently? That's where castor oil becomes more than an old wives' tale. It becomes a tool. You see, when applied as a warm compress over the lower abdomen, castor oil doesn't just sit on the skin, it penetrates. The ricinoleic acid goes deep, stimulating lymphatic drainage, easing pressure, reducing inflammation, and encouraging natural detoxification. Now, add a sprinkle of baking soda and suddenly you've created a healing environment, a synergy that amplifies everything. The result: men report waking up fewer times per night. Some say the urgency fades. Others, like Sam, say they finally feel rested again. And it's not just stories. A study published by the American Neurological Association tracked men over 60 who used warm castor oil compresses 3 times a week. After just 90 days, they saw a 40% reduction in nighttime urination. No pills, no side effects, just nature used the way it was meant to be. And it all starts with a cloth, a little warmth, and the willingness to try something simple, yet profound. If you've ever stood in the dark at 3 a.m. asking yourself, why can't I just sleep? Then maybe it's time to stop accepting discomfort as destiny. Because there is another way, and it's waiting in your kitchen cabinet. Now, let's talk about another secret that castor oil is quietly transforming: the battle so many men face when they see more of their scalp than their hair. Hair loss sneaks up on you. At first, it's just a few extra strands on the pillow. Then you notice the drain clogs faster after a shower. Soon you start avoiding the mirror when the light hits just right. Because deep down, something you once took for granted is slowly slipping away. And for many men over 50, it feels like there's nothing you can do. You're getting older, they say. It's just genetics, they say. But here's what most people don't say. A major reason for hair loss after 50 isn't just aging. It's a hormonal shift. It's something called DHT, short for dihydrotestosterone. As you age, your body converts more of your testosterone into this ultra-potent hormone. And DHT, it's ruthless. It latches onto hair follicles, especially on your scalp, slowly choking them, starving them, shrinking them, until they stop producing hair entirely. That's the bad news. Now for the good news. Castor oil fights back. It contains a compound that naturally inhibits the enzyme responsible for converting testosterone into DHT-5-alpha reductase, which means that instead of using synthetic drugs with harsh side effects, you can use a natural, side effect-free oil to address the root cause literally. But that's not all castor oil does. It's loaded with omega-9 fatty acids and vitamin E, which help increase blood flow to your scalp. That's key, because more blood flow means more oxygen and nutrients, and that means stronger follicles and healthier hair. Think of it like fertilizer. Your scalp is the soil. Your follicles are the seeds, and castor oil. It feeds the roots, protects the skin, and restores the cycle of growth. Still sound too good to be true. Let me tell you about James. James was 42, sharp dresser, big smile, quick wit. But his confidence, it was shrinking faster than his hairline. He tried biotin, switched shampoos, even looked up hair transplant clinics online until the price tag sent him right back to Google. When I mentioned castor oil, he laughed. "Really?" he said. "You want me to rub motor oil on my head?" But something about the simplicity stuck with him. So one night he warmed 2 tablespoons of cold-pressed castor oil, rubbed it gently into his scalp, massaged it in for 5 minutes, especially around the temples where the hair had retreated the most. Then he slept with a soft towel on his pillow. The next morning, nothing dramatic. But he kept going, twice a week, then 3 times. At first, it was just less shedding. Then about a month in, he ran his hand through his hair and paused. "It feels thicker," he said quietly. 3 months later, his barber looked puzzled during a haircut. "Whatever you're doing," he told James, "don't stop." That was the moment James believed, not in magic, not in hype, but in the power of consistency and the healing rhythm of natural solutions. If hair loss has been weighing on your confidence, if you've felt helpless every time you see that extra patch of scalp in the mirror, then don't give up. You may not grow a full mane overnight, but with patience and the right support, you can restore more than just hair. You can restore belief in your body again. And it doesn't stop there. Because this oil, this thick golden miracle, isn't just for your head or your hormones. It's quietly helping people move again without pain. Let's talk about joints. For many older adults, pain doesn't scream. It whispers. A stiff knee here, a tight hip there. A back that used to bend without complaint now cracks with every reach. It's not just age. It's inflammation building silently, damaging the joints from the inside out. And the pain, it isn't just physical, it changes your habits. You skip walks, say no to invitations. You start organizing your life around your pain. But what if there was a way to soothe that inflammation without pills, without risk, and without side effects? That's exactly what castor oil is doing for people like Mark. Mark spent over 30 years building homes, climbing ladders, hauling lumber, working with his hands and his knees. But by the time he hit 65, even walking up a single flight of stairs felt like torture. He'd grip the rail one step at a time, knees swollen, joints aching like rusty hinges. Painkillers numbed it, but the side effects scared him. Then one day he tried something different. He warmed a tablespoon of castor oil, massaged it deep into his knees, then wrapped them in a towel and rested with a heating pad for 30 minutes. The first session, comfort, warmth, a strange but welcome ease. By the 3rd week, he climbed a full staircase without stopping, no railing, no pause. It was a small victory, but for Mark, it felt like standing on top of a mountain. And joint relief isn't the only hidden power castor oil carries. Let's talk digestion. Because while most people see digestion as something simple, eat, digest, go, many seniors live with a quieter kind of suffering. That bloating after every meal, the heaviness, the sluggishness, the days without a bowel movement, the discomfort that makes you dread even your favorite foods. And when you try to fix it, laxatives, powders, fast-acting solutions that force your body into action but leave you dehydrated, cramped, and dependent. Castor oil takes a smarter approach. When taken in small food-grade amounts under the care of a trusted provider, it stimulates the gut naturally. It binds to receptors in the intestines, gently prompting the body to move waste out the way it was meant to with rhythm and ease. But many prefer the external method, a warm castor oil pack over the abdomen. That's what Lisa did. Lisa was energetic, vibrant, and full of life, but after meals she felt like someone had inflated a balloon in her belly. Salads or sandwiches, it didn't matter. Bloating, gas, discomfort. She'd tried probiotics, enzyme blends, herbal teas. They helped a little. Then, nothing. So she gave castor oil a try. Every other evening, she soaked a flannel cloth, laid it across her belly, wrapped it in plastic, and rested beneath a heating pad for 45 minutes. She called it her gut spa, and within weeks, something shifted. Her meals no longer triggered discomfort. Her belly didn't puff up after lunch. Her energy returned. Even her mood felt brighter. It wasn't just about digestion, it was about freedom. The kind of freedom that comes when your body feels aligned, not inflamed. Balanced, not burdened. If your mornings begin with tight joints and your evenings end with a bloated belly, you don't have to live like that anymore. Because this oil used wisely, consistently, is restoring motion, comfort, and trust in the body. And now we arrive at one final truth, the one that affects your energy, your stamina, your very circulation. Let's talk about your blood flow. Sometimes it starts with cold hands or a numbness in your toes that lingers longer than it should. Maybe it's the heaviness in your legs after sitting too long, or the strange fatigue after walking just one flight of stairs. You tell yourself, "I'm just tired," but what you're really feeling is sluggish circulation. And poor circulation isn't just about discomfort, it's about survival. When your blood can't move freely, nutrients don't reach your muscles. Your heart has to work harder, and your brain, your very clarity, begins to fade. Over time, poor circulation steals energy, strength, and even memory. It's one of the silent risk factors behind heart disease and stroke. And most people never realize it until something serious happens. But what if you could gently improve circulation, not with a pill, not with a stimulant, but with something that works with your body, not against it? Castor oil does just that. When massaged into the feet, calves, hands, or spine, this golden oil stimulates a natural molecule inside you, nitric oxide. Nitric oxide is the body's way of opening up blood vessels. It widens the arteries, encourages smoother flow, and helps oxygen reach the places it's been missing. In one 2021 study published in the Journal of Cardiovascular Pharmacology, researchers found that applying castor oil topically increased blood flow by up to 35% in just 4 weeks. That's not a trend, that's a breakthrough. For seniors who struggle with heavy legs, cold extremities, or brain fog, that kind of boost can change everything. And the best part, you don't need fancy devices or expensive supplements. Just a few minutes before bed, warm the oil in your hands until it feels soothing. Massage it gently into your feet, calves, hands, or wherever you feel tension. Move slowly. Breathe deeply. Let your touch send a signal to your body. You are safe. You are healing. You are waking up from within. It's a ritual, a reminder that your body, no matter your age, still wants to move, still wants to heal, still wants to live. So let's bring it all together. Castor oil and baking soda. Simple, humble ingredients are helping people over 60 regain what they thought was gone. Sleep deep and uninterrupted. Relief from swollen joints and tight muscles. Digestion that flows without pain or pill. Hair that feels thicker, stronger, more alive. Circulation that renews energy from the feet to the brain. You don't need to suffer in silence. You don't have to accept discomfort as your destiny. You can start right where you are tonight, with a warm cloth, a small bottle, and the belief that healing is still possible. Because it is. Nature hasn't forgotten you. Your body hasn't given up on you. And neither have we. If you've felt seen in this story, if something inside you is quietly saying, maybe it's not too late, then stay with us. Subscribe to Senior Fit, where growing older doesn't mean growing smaller. It means growing wiser, stronger, and still moving forward.